Thrills here. Today I'm doing top 9 coasters at Six Flags St. Louis. This is my home park, and I love going to this place. They have 9 coasters, but only a couple really good ones. So let's get into this list. Number 9, Ninja. This ride is awful. I don't even think many people like this ride. I mean, I know there's some, but not many people actually like this ride. Now, I do have some friends who do, but everyone I've talked to personally absolutely despises this ride, and it's easy to see why. The headbanging, the rough transitions, the bad double corkscrew, that super rough helix, I just cannot find a redeeming quality with this ride, except for that drop that gives a nice pop of ejector. That is literally the only good part about Ninja. So, on to the next coaster. Number 8, Boomerang. This coaster isn't good, but it's not bad either. This coaster is fine. The Cobra Roll is fine, the loop is fine, the drops are fine. There's nothing bad or good about this coaster, but it's always freaking down, so I never get to ride it. And that's my biggest problem, is that I almost never get to ride it because it's down. It's down almost every day I go, and ever since the Valley happened all the way back in 2016, it's basically always been down. But before that, it was up most of the time, but this ride is just fine. So, on to the next coaster. Number 7, River King Mine Train. This is a family coaster, and that's about it. It's a great family coaster, and it was my very first coaster. It's not Thunderation, but it's still a fun ride. It was my very first coaster, and that ending tunnel drop is amazing. It's honestly one of the best moments in the entire park, even though it's on a frickin' aero mine train. It's a great moment, and it's actually pretty scary, and in the back, you get ejected, and it's insane. So, on to the next coaster. Number 6, Pandemonium. This is a family coaster, but it's insanely fun if you get a good weight distribution. If there's little weight, then you just spin out of control and it never ends. It feels amazing to just spin. But the worst part about this ride is sitting on that brake run when you're just spinning and spinning and spinning, and it's miserable just sitting on that brake run. But that's just a minor complaint. It's not really part of the actual ride. The actual ride is so insanely fun because you're just spinning out of control. So, on to the next coaster. Number 5, Screamin' Eagle. This is one of the oldest coasters at the park and the first wooden coaster ever installed at the park. When it opened, it was the tallest, longest, and fastest coaster with the biggest drop. This coaster is awesome, and it has some good air. All the air is flowjector to just plain on ejector, and the ride is frickin' awesome. But the reason it's quite low is because it's quite rough, because of its age. Even though it has gotten some track work, it's still quite a rough ride, which prevents it from being any higher. So, on to the next coaster. Number 4, Batman the Ride. This is the second most intense coaster at the park, and it's pretty smooth for its age. It's a cool coaster. I find it smoother than the Great America Batman, which was the first Batman, and if I'm correct, this is the 4th one ever built. This is a fun, intense ride with awesome inversions. Now, my friend Zero G Thrills, who does not like B&M inverts, probably wouldn't rank this as high as I do. So, yeah, but I really like B&M inverts. So, on to the next coaster. Number 3, The Boss, the largest coaster at the park. This coaster is awesome. It's long, it's fast, and it pulls some good lateral G-forces. I really enjoy this coaster, and it's my 10th favorite coaster overall, and obviously the first coaster from Six Flags St. Louis that makes my top 10. This coaster is long, tall, and fast, and it used to be even better when the double helix was there. But they removed it, which kinda ruined part of the ride. So yeah, let's get on to the next coaster. Number 2, Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast. Easily the most intense coaster in the park. This coaster pulls some insane G's on that inverted top hat and the overbank turn. This coaster is amazing, and that spike, it's awesome. Falling down that spike, you get this weird sensation, and it's just awesome. And then you go through the whole thing again forwards because this ride launches you backwards. This is just an awesome coaster. So, on to the next coaster. Number 1, American Thunder. Of course this would be number 1. What else would it be? It's a GCI and it has a lot of great things about it. The ejector airtime is nice, the turns pull some decent laterals, and while the ride isn't too intense, it's just my style of coaster. The drop has air, even some of the turns have some have some mild airtime, and everything on this ride is just ejector. You just get floated out of your seats, and that airtime finale at the end is freaking insane. Because it's just a bunch of back-to-back ejector hills, and it's just awesome. And fun fact of trivia, this coaster is actually a clone of Thunderbird at Powerland in Finland, if I'm correct. So, yeah. This was top 9 coasters at Six Flags St. Louis. This is my home park, and I like most of the coasters here. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and please subscribe, everybody!